So here's a little update with my goal planner, which some of you may not recognize this cover as the goal planner, but probably recognize this page, Learn from Yesterday, Live for Today, Hope for Tomorrow. And I did a video a long time ago when I first bought this and how I was so confused by these pages that seemed to be setting up for only one goal, and then a bunch of other stuff, and then a bunch of other stuff, and then whenever you got to a tab, then there was also like 10 more goals and routines and this weekly sort of a thing with only 3 little to-do checkboxes over there. I just did not understand. So I tried to make it work for me. One of my goals is to learn Korean, so I thought, well, I'll make this like my vision board or mood board and put down my reasons why and decorate it and make it cute. And then I will check my progress. Every time I learn 3 words, I fill up a box and I color in this progress bar, so that was supposed to be a thing. But it wasn't, obviously, because this is like 2 months old already and nothing has happened. So that was a fail. I completely covered up this page, which is normally, I think, the goals of the month. Is that what's going on there? Yeah, because it's right after the calendar. So this was supposed to be the goals of the month page that I found completely unusable, and I had no idea what to do, so I just covered it up thinking I would write something in Korean here, I guess, but I didn't. And turned this page into grammar notes. Didn't use that. I mean, I got crazy trying to cover up the pink in this planner because I don't like pink. I'm not a pink person, okay? And thought I'd be writing down just like little daily notes of what I did in Korean or something. I mean, I put some time into this to try to make this thing work for me, and found that I was spending more time just trying to get the format to work than actually doing the thing. I mean, this probably took a couple hours for me to find all the scrapbook paper and cut it down and extra sticker paper and blah blah blah. Why wouldn't I just like actually study Korean instead of trying to make this planner track how well I'm studying Korean, right? It's ridiculous. So that was that. My other thing was to lose 30 pounds before I went on vacation, and this was back when I had like 100 days left, and right now I'm down to like 21 or 22 days left, and I'm pretty much the same weight as I was 97 days ago. So, fail. And then the goal tracker. At first this was fun, putting in the stars every time I did something, but then my friend put me on to this app called Habitica. So this is habitica.com, and if any of you want to try it out, you can do it off of your desktop, or there's an app that you can get for your phone or tablet or whatever. I use it on my iPad. So it has different ways for you to keep track of the things you need to do and actually earn like fake gold, where you can buy outfits for your character or, you know, get your pets or whatever. So if you want to check it out, it's habitica.com. So with Habitica, this kind of got flung to the side. Didn't even open up this planner to bother doing those stars because I had it online. And then recipes, not very helpful. I tried keeping like a diet journal for a while, but I hated having to cover up the 3 checklist things. Hated it, so I hated it. And it just did not work for me. And then my last thing that I was trying to do was I was trying to track my sewing projects, because someday I'm going to have a wardrobe that's just completely by me after I've done all my sewing projects. And, you know, I took notes of the fabric I needed and like the buttons and zippers that I needed, and I had my rewards all listed out for when I did something in sewing, and here's some notes about completing a garment. And these were supposed to be the steps of me making my clothes, but obviously did not happen. And I'm sick and tired of trying to make this work, and I've also come to a great realization that right now I have like my daily life in one planner and my goals in a separate planner, But why? Why wouldn't I want my goals to be a part of my regular life? So I come to the great decision that I'm throwing this away, chucking it out. I might save the covers. I think I'll just save the covers because I do have a spiral punch machine, so I might make a sketchbook out of this or something. But the rest of the guts, I'm chucking it, and I'm going to, lose this dead weight. And then I was thinking about how can I put it into my daily life, and I thought, I've completely forgotten that the back of every Erin Condren has a bunch of blank note pages. I mean, I know they have them at the end of the month too, obviously. There's the one, on this side. Plus, I guess I could do this side too. So I could do like monthly goals with my month calendar and stuff. But then I can also put non-time sensitive ones like sewing. It isn't time sensitive, but I could put my sewing ones back here. What? This is gonna be amazing! So of course I went to my computer and I started making stickers. So here are some headers that have like your project, like your big project, and then you can break it down into parts. And then I have my little, like, when I achieve whatever, my reward is whatever, and you write it in. And then there's different like little checklists, and of course just regular functional stickers and dots. And I have some headers that say goal details, measure progress by, benefits my life by, resources needed to get this stuff done. These numbers here go with the project part, so it's like project part 1, project part 2, etc. And just, more boxes and stuff to write down and make it pretty and stuff. So this is my first like prototype of making a project tracking kit. So I'm going to use this for my sewing and see if I can keep better track of my sewing project once it's like already in my regular planner. So let's get started, shall we? I'm starting off by covering this skinny header with a really thick header. I think I had originally measured those for the later pages that have the big watercolor header. But anyway, I wrote down sewing clothes because that was the general category of my project, and tried to thicken up the letters with a different pen, and then quickly realized that this header is too tall and it's hard to write. I tried to make it fancy, but it failed. It's a little hard to write anything in that single line at the same size as the way project's written, if that makes sense at all. I don't know if it does. Anyway, I need to change the size of that main header. Then, sticking in the little headers that say, measure the progress by, benefits my life by. This is kind of like the questions that were in the goal planner, at least the ones that I thought were the most important. Like, sew clothes, what does that mean? It means I'm going to do these things: 2 blouses, 1 skirt, 1 jumper. And how am I going to measure the progress? Well, easily by the number of finished garments that I make. Benefits my life by, I thought that was more of a bullet list, so I put down a checklist instead. It's going to save me money because I already have fabric and everything. Save me time shopping because nothing fits me and it just takes hours for me to find anything. And I'm going to be comfy, and I'm going to feel good because I look good, and I'm going to be able to express my fashion sense the way I want to, stuff like that. I need fabric, sewing machine, sewing mock, match, and patterns and stuff, but like I said, I already have that, so I'm ready to go. So my first project part 1, is that when I achieve a finished blouse, my reward will be boba tea. Actually, I'd written that before in my goal planner as well. So I have this one pattern that I'm pretty sure was based off of Agent Carter, and I liked season 1 of Agent Carter. Did season 2 even come out? I don't know, but I think it was a different actress, so I was like, no, I'm done. There's what it looks like if you want to know. So it's the pattern Simplicity 1166. And I don't know why I decided to put that header like above the lines. Like, one thing that's a little bit tricky with doing things on notes pages is that they don't have the vertical columns, obviously, like the regular weeks. So trying to figure out, like, where do I put this stuff was a little weird. So I just moved that one up to be in line with the pattern, and then stuck that down there instead, and thought maybe it'll give me more room if I made that just a single column first. Most of these stickers I had measured to fit within the lines like that little quarter box there. And my step 1 is I need to cut out from the pattern is pieces 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, I could have just said 4 through 10, but oh well. And then step 2 would be that I need to use this pattern to cut it out from the fabric. So then I wrote pieces, and I wasn't sure, well, should I just write them all over again? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? So I was looking at the pattern off screen there, and figuring out, like, okay, well, I do need some of these pieces times 2, because, like, you need 2 sleeves, you need, 2 sides of the shirt, whatever. So, wrote those in, and some of them had to be on a fold, and I scribbled that out and just put a star instead. That looks super ugly. But anyway, that's going to remind me that 5 and 6 have to be placed on the fold of the fabric. Then, step 3, I need to cut out pieces from interfacing. And the only pieces that need interfacing are 6 through 8, and then number 10. And some of them have to be on the fold, some of them need 2 pieces. So that's what's going to happen there. And then I also just had a little bit of room left, so I put down a full box sideways, and I'm going to look through my fabric and see what kind of fabric I'm going to use for this shirt. So you can see that the smaller headers fit the original note headers pretty well, and I didn't have to use that big thick one like I did earlier. Gosh. Anyway, the other part of this is the Agent Carter skirt. And it's a huge skirt. It takes so much fabric. Oh my gosh, it's like over 4 yards, I think, 4.5 yards, something like that. Anybody who's purchased fabric, you know that's a lot of yardage, and that can be a lot of money. So thankfully I already have all my fabrics, don't have to spend any more money. What I need for this is, 4¼ yards of fabric, and 1 3/8 yards of interfacing. So I was writing down the things that I needed, and my stickers are getting a little bit crooked as they go down, so didn't plan that very well. And then I also am going to start with, cutting from the pattern first. So I'll cut out all my pattern pieces 12 through 16. See, I learned from my previous mistake. And then thing number 2 is that I need to cut from the fabric, pieces 12 through 16. And also I need to cut out some interfacing, 15 and 16 only, but I couldn't even write and. Gosh, what is with me today? So I used a little bit of correction tape and wrote and. And then another box on its side so that I could write down which fabric I'm going to use for the skirt. I'll have to look in my fabric bin later. And then project part number 3. The jumper. And at first I was going to actually have a 4th part of this project and have the final blouse on the next page, but I thought, I'd really like to be able to see all of it on just one page, so then later I actually combo this page to be the jumper and the blouse, because the pattern even comes with like the jumper pattern and a top pattern anyway, so I'm still using the same pattern and stuff. So there's my rewards: making a sketchbook, sushi lunch, and then putting down another checklist for the jumper. Here's the jumper. It's pattern Simplicity 1325 if you care. And I need 3 yards of fabric, and a hook and eye closure, and twill tape, and a 22-inch zipper. And then I needed a couple more items, so I put down another little quarter box, and I need 3/4 of a yard of interfacing, and also lining fabric. I need 7/8 of a yard, which I'm pretty sure I have. I have all that, I think. And then for the blouse, another checklist, but I didn't really pay attention to how many things I need for this blouse, because it was only, I think, 3. And that's only because I wrote the pattern again. So then I'm like, okay, guess I'll cut that off. I should have just used some quarter boxes, but oh well. And then putting down a full box over there. It was a little weird spacing, as you can see, so I tried to center the blouse column within those 2 columns. So that is really, I think the biggest thing I took away from this test plan is that I either need to make the stickers wide enough that you just stick them side by side and you make like 4 columns without any gaps in the middle, or something, because my layout was kind of all over the place and didn't really know where to put what exactly. So that's going to be a thing in my next revision. Gotta figure out how do I nicely make something that you know, can be customizable, but you'll still have some kind of guide as to where do you put these stickers, because now I just got that big gutter gap in between my rewards and my actual things. So then I thought I'd try just making my own steps with dots, because I realized earlier on, even though I wrote down everything I needed for these projects, there's no way to really keep my progress or check like how close I am to finishing and getting that reward. So I thought, you know, I really need to have steps. But with sewing, I mean, some things like the blouse only has 9 steps. The jumper has 21. So I'm like, gosh, I am not going to write down or, you know, stick down 21 dots. I don't have 21 dots. So then I split them up wrong. Come on, count, can you? So then I had to do it again. And I stuck down more checklist thingies and then divided up the numbers properly that time so that they each had 3 steps. So that's what it looks like. My first prototype for my project in the back of my Erin Condren so that I don't have to separate out my goals from my daily life. And I will be making another video later to see how this is working out. So it has been a few days, and I've been doing a few things in my project. Let's go ahead and zoom in and see what I've been doing here and learning. So number one thing I found out really quickly is that this is way too crowded to only have half of a page for a project. Just not enough space, and so it's really cramped and cluttered. And I also found out really quickly that I have to list the steps, like the progress, like how close am I to the finish line. Like that is something that I was missing in my stickers. But it's not like you can foresee how many steps it's going to take you for any particular project. So I don't quite know how I'm going to set that up yet. But that's something that I found out, like important thing number 2, you need to have a finish line so you can see how close you are to finishing. And you cannot do this, which was also a problem of just not having enough space, is like right now I'm currently on step 2 and I can't quite check this off, but then I'm kind of in a limbo as to, you know, where I am in my progress, because I can't just like check off every single step. I have to wait until I do 3. So that delayed gratification of knowing that just like, yeah, I did that is frustrating, and I don't like it, and I'm not going to do it anymore, okay? So that's a thing. And so far I haven't been doing too much sewing, just mostly cutting out and getting like the fabric that I needed in the pattern and the lining and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff got cut out. I just need to start sewing it. But it would be nicer if I had clearer steps to follow. So I'm thinking I have learned so much from this first go, this first prototype, this first draft of stickers, that I might go ahead and not even wait until I'm done with these projects, but just go ahead and make another set of stickers that addresses the problems that I listed of not having enough space, not having a finish line, and what else did I say? Is that it? Those 2? Not having enough space, not having a progress bar. I think those 2 are primarily it. So that's what I think is going to happen for the next couple of pages, that I'll just redo my sewing projects, but I think I'll do 1 page per project. And I think that'll be nicer too, because then I can put like an actual picture of, you know, the like the pattern I'm using or the garment that I want to make, and it'll be like a combination of the mood board or like the inspirations that went into the shirt, and then yeah, that will be more motivating when I look at it and go like, oh yeah, I wanted to make that blouse, and look, I'm on step 5 of 10, like I should just do a step, you know, things like that. And maybe even have a place where I can record just like the amount of time that I've been putting in, like how many hours, so that next time I'll know that, oh, this blouse took me like 20 hours to complete, like maybe I don't want to do that project again. Like it's all in the data. I am very much a believer in the data keeping. So that's what's going to happen next, now that I've learned from this first pass. Yeah. So I went off and made more stickers. This is version 2. This is the revised edition of my project. So I've got a progress bar, I've got a grid. I made just one set of each for each page. It'll make more sense when I start sticking them down. So what I'm doing first is putting down a skinny project header so that it doesn't take all the space of the universe, and writing down what this project is. It's my 1950s blouse. I probably should have wrote something about sewing it, but oh well. And I decided to take out the instructions because the instructions always have a little line drawing of the garment that you can make, and so I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cute to just kind of copy down this line drawing, and then I'll know exactly what this project is about, just very visually being able to see that, oh, I'm making this blouse. And then I put down the headers that I have increased in width so that there's only 3 of them that go across, and put down some stickers underneath, and double checking like what I wrote before and what I might need. I think I'd probably be better off just putting a box underneath the benefits instead of the checklist. And then I was not trying to stick that down, but it stuck down anyway. And trying to decide where to put it, but I knew I wanted to put my time underneath at the very bottom. So then I put that down and the progress bar on top. So then, getting into the details, just writing down some thoughts, some things that were important to me, like it be made out of cotton. I like cotton, okay. And the pattern number, and I wanted a contrasting color lapel and cuffs, just for funsies. And then I also needed to copy down my supplies, so I apologize for the flipping back and forth on this part, but I needed to do that. I had 1 space left. I'm like, what? And I'm gonna write here. So I'm like, thread, and then wrote a little, or drew a little tongue sticking out face, because obviously I wanted thread. And then wanted to leave this section as just notes where I can doodle or write down things. Like I know I want to make it in a red with white polka dots fabric, and then have black with white polka dots for the collar, but not right now. And then I'm also making one with some leftover Toy Story fabric and some solid color accents, this kind of thing. So this grid thing, I'm using it similarly to the one I have in my September projects, and I'm writing down the sewing steps that I need to do and what I need to cut out and stuff like that. So I have a very easily recognizable visual guide as to what I need to cut out and stuff. But I forgot about the interfacing, so I had to kind of just smush it in at the end here because I was just too eager to write down everything I needed to write down and didn't leave space. So whoops. So the sewing steps, there are 19 of them, so I just wrote down 1 through 19, and then I split up my progress bar into thirds, and then forgot that, oh yeah, I have the interfacing too, whoops. So each time I finish a row of the grid, I can also mark it off in my overall progress bar, just to reiterate how close I am to finishing. Doing similarly with the skirt on the other side, making a little line drawing so I know what this project is about, counting the buttons, and trying to recreate it as best I can. And then writing down notes again, and saying that I wanted to use my brown with white polka dot. Oh gosh, I have a lot of polka dotted material. And maybe someday also make it in other colors like red. And then I was counting up how many supplies I needed this time, and I only needed 3, so I just cut the checklist down to 3 and copied over the things that I needed, like fabric and interfacing and buttons. And then put down the next one, but I forgot that the interfacing G and N are sticking out beyond where they're supposed to stick out. So now I have to move my project details over if I'm going to put a box sticker underneath. and problems. So then I used a checklist instead, so I could just kind of squish it over there. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but that's okay. It's just another attempt to see what else I need to revise. So I needed a huge space because these were huge pattern pieces, and I needed to take my own measurements to make sure that it will fit me, and maybe buy trim. And oh, by the way, it has pockets. Woohoo! I love a skirt with pockets. So I'm already finding out that I need some 3-item checklists because it's pretty much twice that I needed only 3 items, and I had to make do with the 4. This time I'm trying the progress bar at the bottom, and then putting the grid on top, and then just keeping track of how many time or hours I spend with that sticker. And I thought, oh, I could probably use these stickers as a bar, maybe add some more color. This time I was more careful to include the interfacing, but I don't know why, because there's only 2 pieces that needed to be cut out of the interfacing, so it seems like a waste. I could have just added it on to the fabric, but oh well. And then I wrote down the amount of steps that I needed to do it. Actually, I think there's only 15. Again, I got a little excited and wrote 16. And then there's my little progress bar. So to show what I mean about this progress bar, like I've already cut out the pattern, I've already cut out the fabric. So the pattern's all done, I can fill that up, and the fabric's all done, I can fill that up. So then after I cut out the interfacing, then I'll do that. And I thought, oh, maybe it'd be more fun if you actually stuck down stickers on the progress bar, so I might change it to that, I'm not sure. There's the before, kind of cluttered and messy, and here's the after. This is my second version, and it's a little bit, maybe a little bit sparse. Zoom in again so you can see the whole effect of having the notes up there and some project details, and then the ever important progress tracking. And the other side too with the skirt. I think right now the least attractive part is still the grid, so I think I'm going to spend some time with the grid maybe, but we'll save that for a different video. This has gotten long enough. But anyway, that's what I'm doing instead of my recollections planner. I am just keeping track of my projects and my goals in my Erin Condren planner. So, hope that is helpful to you in some way, or at least that you were entertained for this half an hour, and I'll catch you later.